Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. We will be learning more about village savings clubs from our champion community in Kaffrine, Senegal. We will just wait maybe one more minute for more colleagues to join us. But thank you again for being here with us. Welcome everyone to this knowledge exchange on village savings clubs. We will be starting shortly, just waiting for a few more colleagues to join us. Meanwhile, please choose your preferred language in the interpretation function by pressing on the 3 more buttons and then choose interpretation. Okay, I think we can start today. Welcome warmly to all of you who are here with us today to learn more about the village savings clubs from our champion community of Kaffrine, Senegal, and also their supporting organization MotherTrees. My name is Anna Ivano, and I'm a forest and landscape restoration specialist with FAO's Forest and Landscape Restoration Mechanism. And I'm also a co-focal point of this Initiative 3 of the Capacity, Knowledge and Learning Action Plan of the UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. But before we continue, just some practical information. For your knowledge, there is translations available in French and English. So you access these by pressing on the More button in the menu, the 3 dots, and then choose Interpretation and your preferred language. And please feel free to keep your camera on during the whole session so we feel like we're all here in the same online joint space. And please keep your microphone muted, but feel very welcome to write questions in the chat as we will have time to address these later on. But today, as mentioned, we will learn from the champion community of Kaffrine, Senegal, and also MotherTrees about the village savings clubs as a means for promoting restoration. But before hearing more from the champion community itself, I hand over the word to Christian Sater-Melnick, who is co-focal point of Initiative 3 and also consultant to support the FAO-led task force of the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. She will give us an introduction of the UN Decade and also this Initiative 3. So please, Chris, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Anna. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. As Anna mentioned, my name is Cristiane Sater. I work supporting the Task Force on Best Practices, and I'd like to brief you a bit more on the context of this initiative before we learn from the community of Kaffrine in Senegal. So first, the Task Force on Best Practices is one of the task forces established under the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. It is a collaborative effort to enhance capacity development and knowledge dissemination throughout the UN Decade, so until the 2030 and also beyond. For now, currently we have 400 members participating within this task force from around 108 organizations. And collaboratively, we've been working on different activities related to knowledge dissemination and capacity development. Next slide, please, Anna. Thank you. And today we'll be focusing more on this, one of the big products of the Task Force on Best Practices, which is the Capacity Knowledge and Learning Action Plan, the CCLAP. And this plan identified 8 capacity initiatives to address capacity gaps and knowledge gaps identified through a global gap assessment conducted in 2021. And then in 2023, the Capacity Knowledge and Learning Action Plan was published. And we identified these 8 initiatives targeting different stakeholders and their gaps related to restoration and knowledge. So today we'll be focusing on Initiative 3 of the Capacity Knowledge and Learning Action Plan, which is the community-based ecosystem restoration mechanism, which is focused on the communities groups. Next slide, please. So to explain better about the Initiative 3, so we aim with this initiative to empower communities to plan, implement, monitor, and finance their own restoration initiatives, and by enhancing technical capacity, functional capacities, and building capacity to mobilize finance from public and private sector sources. And the Initiative 3 is also related to the bigger action plan of the UN Decade, which will have like different challenges. And we also have Challenge 5 on communities, and this initiative is aligned with this action plan of the decade. Next slide, please. And we started the implementation, like as I mentioned in the previous slide, we published the CCLAP in 2023, and then in 2024, we started the implementation of 5 of the 8 initiatives of the CCLAP. And so we, together with the members of the Task Force on Best Practice who were interested to support this initiative, we started the planning of the priority activities for 2024 and 2025. So together with the members, we developed the work plan for these 2 first years of the implementation of the initiative, focusing more on the establishment of mechanisms to strengthen communities' financial capacity and access, and also their technical capacity. So we prioritized 2 main activities during these first 2 years. The first one was to identify champion communities that have experience of establishing and managing restoration-related self-sustaining income-generating activities. And the second activity was to develop community-targeted knowledge exchanges involving these communities' champions, identifying an activity 1, and also finding other topics that could like support communities in managing their restoration efforts. So next slide, please. This is the last slide, then we can go through, and then we can start the knowledge exchange. But it's very important to say that we complete then the first activity this year. So in September this year, we had an announcement of the 9 champion communities, and after a very careful and comprehensive selection process to identify community champions in restoration-related income-generating activities, we selected these 9 champion communities here that you can see in the map. So we have communities from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, and now we are starting this series of knowledge exchanges. And today marks the first global knowledge exchanges where we'll be drawing on experiences from the community of Kaffrine in Senegal. So now, as I already brief you a bit on the initiative, I would like to hand over to my colleague Anna again, then we can start this knowledge exchange. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for giving this context about this initiative and also the champion communities. Let us learn more about the champion communities' work in Kaffrine, Senegal. And we will be learning from some of its members and leaders about their work with village savings clubs. More specifically, we will be learning from Miss Aminta Sal, who is the president of Ande Sokoleko Women's Village Savings Group. And she's highly celebrated for leading a savings and credit association that has enabled women to generate income from tree products grown by reforestation and agroforestry. We also have with us Mrs. Philly Traore, who is the president of the Women's Forestry Association. And she's recognized for her leadership in mobilizing women for reforestation initiatives and for her tireless work overseeing tree nurseries that supply the tens of thousands of seedlings each year that drives Kaffrine's forest regeneration. And we also have Mr. Omar Nadao, who is the program director for Senegal of MotherTrees. And he's honored for helping plant tens of millions of trees in his native Kaffrine over the past 25 years, inspiring generations of farmers to adapt agroforestry. And we also have Mrs. Jabu Sek, who is the president of Nadanko Forest Management Committee. And she's honored for advancing community-based forestry management and safeguarding the Nadanko forest through inclusive leadership that sustains both biodiversity and community livelihoods for the long term. And last but not least, we have Mr. Baidan Sisse, who is the vice president of Terenga Salum Cooperative. And he's recognized for championing farming solidarity, sustainable practices, and collective marketing that strengthen livelihoods across the Kaffrine region. And we will now learn more about them and their work with village savings clubs in this upcoming video.
Asalaamaaleykum mbooloo mi kenn ku si nekk maa ngi lay nuyu sa tur ak sa sant maa ngi tudd Aminata Sall dëkk Médina Sy maa ngi jiite fukki groupe ak ñaar ña ngi si njëmbatu garab ak bay maraîchage ña ngi commerce ña ngi yor ñetti xomb yi di yor xaalis di dajale samedi bu jot semaine bu jot daañu dajale suñu xaalis si kees gi dajale ko di yor xaalis bi di si liggéey ku liggéey ba pare ñu xool dat ba nga jëlee xaalis bi ak ba nga koy delloo si ñëw indi si kees gi di sant Omar di sant Mapenda ñu ngi indil liggéey bi ñu di ko liggéey fii ba kenn jaaxleetul dara kenn soxlootul lenn ña ngi si suñu tool ña ngi si suñu ñetti xoom dañ daan soxla xaalis di dem si banque yi di lebi xaalis di dem di dikk ñëw di indi fii bor duñ si toog léegi lebeetuñu fenn xaalis bu ñu soxlootee xaalis si kees gi la ñuy jël lépp suñu xaalis di si liggéey di si delloo si waat bu jëkkoon na boobu programme yëpp xamuñu ko woon kon na ñu ngi indil projet garab yi dañuy sant Mapenda di sant Omar ñoom ñu ngi indil projet ba tey ñuy liggéey ak ñoom ba egsi fii tey ñu egsi ñu ngi si juróomi at buñ ko dalee liggéey ak léegi may ñaax sama mbokki jigéen ñi kenn ku si nekk foo mën a nekk ngay daan sa doole di liggéey di commerce yàlla dimbale la si jàppale la si ba la nga si bëgg yàlla defal la ko yaag sa njaboot ndax liggéey ak ànd ak groupe ñooy ànd liggéey bu si dàq nga ànd ak groupe waaye man kese naa dem wala man kese naa am déedéet ñun doxew ñu noonu dañuy former suñu groupe bu mu yegg ñu yor suñu kees ñun ñëpp ñu bokk liggéey di dóorandoo di xàccandoo di dóorandoo ñun lii mooy suñu liggéey ci Médina Sy maa ngi jiite nag fukki groupe ak ñaar kenn ku si nekk yaa ngi yor sa xomb yaa ngi liggéey yaa ngi bay yaa ngi jaay di dem Kaffrine di jaay fu nekk yaa ngi fay jaay fii ba Dakar ña ngi fay jaay.
di rafetlu seen teewaay fii di kontaan ci waa ONU parce que lii yàgg na doon lu ñu yàgg a bëgg man maa ngi tudd Diabou Seck nekk présidente CIVGF forêt bu Danku ñu nekk ay ndawu maire parce que ñun ñoo nekk comité boo xamante ni c'est autonome mais ay maire ñoo ñu fi teg les maires de Diamagadio Nganda et Médina Salam 2 nga xamante ne ñoom ñoo bokk forêt Danku léegi muy kuréel goo xamante ne ni ñoom ñooy doxal lépp loo xam ne gestion la si biir forêt bi. donc ñu ngi rafetlu seen taxawaay fii seen teewaay fii di leen sant di leen gërëm vraiment kontaan nañ bu baax a baax.
merci Diabou ak ñu itam ñu ngi la félicité bu baax yow champion nga merci.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
She said, hi, my name is Diabou Sek. She's happy to welcome us here. She's excited and appreciative of being named a community champion by the UN. She has the pleasure of helping to work with, she listed out the villages around the forest, and she works with all of those villages to manage the forest, and that she's the president of the inter-villageois committee.
Assalamu alaikum. maa ngi tudd Omar Ndaw maa ngi dëkk fii ci Kaffrine man maay directeur de MotherTrees ñu ngi fi di liggéey ci année yu yàgg depuis ma nekkee xale ak léegi maa ngi jëmbat ay millions de arbres di jàppale sunu population ak sunu alam bi.
So this is Omar Ndao. He says, he introduced himself, say, hi, my name's Omar. He's the country director of MotherTrees here in Senegal. He's been working since he was young to plant millions of trees in Kaffrine here, and he invites everyone to come visit.
maa ngi kontaan ci maa ngi kontaan bi ma ONU invité pour ma bokk ci champion yu bokk nekk ci Kaffrine man maay premier de champion bi nekk ci Kaffrine am naa yeneen ñeenti champion yu nekk sama ginnaaw ñun ñu ngi jël ay pexe di jëmbat ay garab yu bëri di def ay evives di def ay arbres fruitiers di def ay couloir di def ay ombrage di def ay technique de maraîchage di jàppale sunu population pour ñu mën a am seen entreprise pour mën a tabax seen aduna.
He's thrilled to be able to share some of the work that he's been doing. He's been working since he was young, helping farmers in the area here, planting trees for many different reasons that are restoring the soil, blocking the wind, growing more food and more fruit and gardens. And he's excited to be able to participate as a UN champion. He said he's honored to be named a champion along with his colleagues within the champion community of Kaffrine.
Donc champion yi li tax ñu gën a kontaan mooy xam nañ ne fi ñu leen xaar ci ay pexe ak xam-xam loolu mate nañu ko. mooy am nañu juróomi champion yoo xamante ni ñii ñu ngi ci crédit épargne bi ñii ñu ngi ci agroforesterie bi ñii ñu ngi ci yëngu-yëngu maraîchage bi ñu ngi dajale comité bi di leen organiser pour ñu def ay système de plantation ak système de maraîchage loolu dafa am solo pour ñu créer champion yooyu noonu. donc nag ñu ngi kontaan ci ONU bi nga xam ne moo ñu reconnaître ci loolu pour ñu nekk ay champion kon welcome ONU.
Omar says he's excited. He's got about 5 champions who are named here, and he said it's appropriate because all of the 5 are working in different domains that landscapes around the world should be doing. He mentions the agroforestry, the reforestation. We have a champion with the savings clubs that we're talking about in today's video. We have a champion for cooperative development, and we have a champion for forest restoration. So across a landscape, those are the main kind of methodologies that help restore the landscape and help people make money. And so Omar says it's wonderful to see that champions of all those different themes have been named.
Kon avant tout d'abord ma sant gërëm équipe MotherTrees mbégte lañ ci am le fait que aussi ñu choisir ñu parmi les leadership au niveau de la région de Kaffrine di remercier Omar Ndaw mu leen sabab fii ndax kooku suñ waaw ñu remercier on remercie aussi Omar Ndaw vraiment
we would like to thank Omar Ndaw
avec
for his work.
C'est un travail qu'il a beaucoup fait depuis son jeune âge.
This is
Donc
work
si
that
vous
he started when he was very young.
On ne fait qu'ouvrir nos bras ouverts et continuer à
we
travailler notre
welcome him with open arms to continue working with him and with the organization. So thank you very much
aussi
from
de notre
the
choix. On vous remercie.
bottom of our hearts.
Ensuite, vous êtes venu à Kaffrine. Nous
You
rencontrer
came to Kaffrine. You came to meet us
la
today,
présidente de l'association des femmes forestières.
and we are
La
very
secrétaire
grateful
est là,
from the Women's Association. And we have some of our members here behind me. And we've always been working in this type of work. Some of us were too tired and couldn't come. But our association was created. It's an association, and by working together, we are stronger. Everything is managed by the women. All of our activities have to do with production, reforestation, and so on. And we have ornamental trees for giving shade to houses. We have fruit trees. We have thorny trees and thorny bushes too. And we have other trees like tamarind trees and baobab trees. And we wanted to return to the state that our forests were in previously. So what we want to find out is how we can make our forests flourish again in spite of climate change. And so I think it's the duty of every single one of us to actually work hard and to reduce the impact of the heat that we are suffering from. And then we're also able to sell our products, whether they're ornamental trees or other forest products. And we share the profits in two ways. First, to buy the seeds, and then in the second part, we invest in our... We've opened up an account at the Crédit Mutuel, and the third part is for the women themselves, in order to open schools, in order to pay for school fees. And this means that mothers here are able to manage their family responsibilities much better. So they are able to use that money, that extra money, to run their households. And so the return is split into three. We have a rolling fund for our nursery gardens as well. So we put our savings into a pot, so to speak, so that we are able to give out loans. And we work in total solidarity. And when we start, there are women who come and look for work with us and work for the association. We also have fathers who come and try to get work in our association. And of course, they are paid for the work, and this is thanks to the savings that we've been able to accomplish. Because we don't take the whole of the money to go and plant trees. We also have to build roads. We have to build roads into the villages. But there are also things that we're able to sell on the market. Or we're able to buy the plants for trees.
Bon, Isra, etc., etc. Actuellement, nous sommes avec Lion Rouge.
And
oui. On prend le minimum.
Yeah.
So we just take a minimum.
On plante au minimum.
Each time we decide to reforest, we plant 2,500 trees as a minimum.
Parce que cette année seulement, on a planté 1 hectare.
This year, we've planted 1 hectare. And then we continued planting along the roads, because our activity is continuous. We're always working. Because this will certainly improve the environment that we have to
maa ngi dëkk village bu ñuy wax Diacksao ci commune bi ñuy wax Médinatoul Salam 2 waaye ci arrondissement Katakel.
I come from the Katakel area.
tey nag ñu invité ñi nga xam ne ñoo di waa ONU ak seeni ndaw ci fii ñu nekk tey ci Diacksao ci sama tool ñu bëgg a waxtaan ak ñoom ci sunuy bëgg-bëgg ak sunuy jubluwaay ak sunu yëngatu loolu nag ñu ngi cee gërëm waa ONU ba noppi di gërëm sunu docteur Omar Ndaw ak John ñi nga xam ne ñooy sunu kilifa ci at yu bëree bëri fi may waxee yow sama groupe bi nga xam ne tey maa ànd ak ñoom ci fànn woowu mu ngi tudd Tiranga Saloum juddu fii ci commune Médinatoul Salam comme ni ma ko présenté ci département bi ci région bi ci commune bi membres yi lu mu néew war na ma 210 membres liggéey nañ comme ni ma ko waxee ak Omar mi nga xam ne fu ñu àggatee ci wàllu arbre fruitier samp garab ak yu mel noonu donc moom moo ñu encadré woon ba bàyyi ci ñun xam-xam boobu bàyyi ci ñun ngëm-ngëm boobu ñu bëgg nag reprendre boobu liggéey ànd ko waa ONU ak ñoom ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci suñu gannaaw mooy lépp loo xam ne nii dafay jëm ci wàllu samp garab ci defar environnement bi ba liñ ñàkkoon yëpp ñu amaat ko mën a dund bu neex mën a dund bu lewet mën a dund bu méngoog jamono donc loolu mooy li ñu tax a jóg ñoom loolu moo leen tax a jóg en même temps loolu lañ fekk ci ñun donc kon pour ñu ànd liggéey du jafe ñun nag fi ñu nekk am nañ suñu loxo dugg na ci fànn yu bare ni ma ko waxee noonu ñu ngi samp ay garab ci biir dëkk bi ci place publique yi yu mel ni école yi yu mel ni poste de santé yi yu mel ni mosquée yi fu nekk ñu ngi fay jóg suñu loxo di fa samp garab pour nit ñi mën a am dundin bu neex. ci diirëb li ñu ànd ak Omar mat juróom-benni at lu néew war nañoo samp ci ay garab loo xam ne war na jege 20 000 garab ci kër yi ak ci àll bi ci ni ñu encadré woon ci encadrement bu rafet. loolu day wane ne am nañ ci xam-xam gannaaw buñ ci amee xam-xam it am nañ ci bëgg-bëgg am nañ ci ngëm-ngëm parce que gis nañu ne loolu rek moo ñu xawoon a tardeel ba bi loolu xaw a génn ci nun nag xam ne tardement am na ba pare mënatuñu dund bu neex ndax tàngaay bi bari na te loolu li ko indi bokk na ci ñàkk garab bi fi nga gis nii tey balaa juróomi at ci gannaaw ni Ndende Gueye la mel noonu amuloon dara lu fi nekk rek ñun ñoo ko fi def ngir dimbale suñu bopp waaye dimbale environnement bi parce que fu la àddina toll tey suñu loxo dugg na ci wàllu samp garab suñu loxo dugg na it ci wàllu transformation dugg na ci witt garab meññetu garab dem jaay lu mel ni limon lu mel ni mango lu mel ni granate yu mel ni mbay maraîchage lu nekk rek ñun ñu ngi cee yëngatu ngir bëgg développement ci sunu bopp ak sunu réew ak sunu gox pour ñu mën ko développer parce que xam nañ ne développement bi foofu rek la mën a jógee ñu ngi yëngu ci maraîchage ñu ngi yëngu ci mbayam gerte mbayam dugub ak transformation ni ma ko waxee noonu ñu ngi yëngu ci wàllu ñetti xob xëy na am na ñoo xam ne seen xam-xam màcc nañ ci wàllu ñetti xob loolu it nekk ndimbal lu rëy ci ñun parce que am xaalis léeg-léeg nga am ko mais noo ko mën a laqartee ba mën lay jëriñ loolu it xam-xam la njëriñ la te loolu it donc ci groupe bi ma jiite am na ñoo xam ne seen xam-xam màcc na ci ba léegi ñu ngi ko amee di ci dund di ci dimbale seen bopp di ci dimbale seen njaboot di ci dimbale seen dëkkandoo donc noonu lañ koy seere ci seerin boo xam ne ñàkk ngor du ci am jalgati du ci am dañ koy seere ci nañu ko start yi ñu tëral donc ba kenn ku ne mën caa gis sa bopp donc gisuñu ñun ne am na lu ñu war a mën a dimbale tey ci àddina lu war a mën a sowe tey àddina bi lu war a mën a sowe tey sunu gox ak sunu réew lu dul samp garab loolu rek lañ gëm lépp lu mën a ñëw ci projet bi li ko jiite ak fondation bi lépp mooy samp garab loolu mooy fondation projet bi pour nga mën cee bokk mën cee gis sa bopp mën cee am njëriñal loo xam ne dootul jeex fekk 100 ans donc la ngay njëkk a programmé mooy dinaa samp garab leneen lu caay tegee door caay tegee kooku mooy fondation bi te buñ ko toppee it mooy nekk termination bi samp garab mooy fondation bi donc mooy termination bi te ñun loolu la ñu gëm ci loolu lañ jëm ci loolu lañ taxaw temm.
Bravo champion du monde. Bravo champion du monde. Bravo champion du monde. dama kontaan bu baax nag. vraiment bi ma nekkee champion bi ma nekk assistant doon liggéey ci projet yi ndaw yi nekk fa assistant nekk fa technicien nekk fa contrôleur nekk fa coordonnateur dem ba MotherTrees ñu def ma directeur exécutif de Sénégal vraiment loolu dama ci kontaan bu baax. Bravo MotherTrees. Bravo MotherTrees.
So well done, very well done, MotherTrees. Very, very, very well done.
No.
Champions, community champions.
I'll translate. Omar says, congratulations to all the champions and congratulations to all the people in Kaffrine who have been working so hard to make this happen. He's thrilled to be able to be a part of this. He says he started so long ago as an assistant helping in the tree planting world, and he moved up to a technician, and then he was a controller, and at some point, and now he's the director of the MotherTrees program, and we couldn't be happier. And he's a United Nations champion, along with Aminta and Fili and Dam and Jebu. And so we're excited. And he ended with the Life Tree mantra, which is life, prosperity, legacy.
Thank you to our champion community of Kaffrine for that video and really sharing your needs for village savings clubs and how you're working with them and their structures and also how they link to restoration. And also thank you to John Leary, founder and CEO of MotherTrees, for the translations that we saw in the video. And John will now be sharing more with us on the topic of village savings clubs, focusing on what they are and why they are a good approach for income generating within a rural community that's also interested in restoration.
Village savings clubs and associations support ecosystem restoration in many, many ways. In our work, the clubs really help both our forest restoration and our agroforestry programs be successful in the long term. And these restoration strategies are indeed long-term strategies. So after the initial project funding may run out after 1, 2, 3, 4 years, the village savings clubs make sure that forest management committees, that forest stewards, that communities around the forests can continue to sustainably harvest product, can continue to work to combat brush fires so that they can kind of support the ongoing reforestation within the forests as well. And all of the green enterprises. And the Village Savings Club support all of the green business activities that are being done in forests. As fruit might be harvested, other things are processed, honey, moringa, and enables the community to have a long-term interest and a long-term benefit from managing the forest well. The biodiversity goals and outcomes are, improved wildlife management, fewer fires, and maintain biodiversity. And the biodiversity is not just in the big animals and small things and all the insects, the butterflies that are getting wiped out, the bees, the bats, and all the other small varieties. And then the savings clubs help all of the agroforestry restoration as well. The agroforestry at a household level could not continue year after year after year if the families don't have some type of access to savings and credit so that they continue to buy what they need to manage their agroforestry plots. The goal is for families to continue to benefit from the restored farms for decades, for 100 years to come, and they're going to need access to money and finance in different ways to not just keep growing things, but to make sure all of their things get to market. And so how does that help biodiversity? Is it maintains the tree cover that people work so hard to establish in the beginning. They plant thousands of trees. Well, these trees are working, they're bringing benefits for the family, so it maintains the tree cover. The tree cover in place makes sure that the birds, and you can hear the chirping around me perhaps, that the birds and all the other wildlife continues to benefit. When you go into a heavily degraded farm that's been all monocropped and is just degraded land, you don't hear much at all. But when you come into the LifeTree agroforestry system, you hear birds chirping and all kinds of animals are active, little things are scurrying around, and there's a lot of life, and it's many different niches for all types of biodiversity. Some of the mammals, the reptiles, here we have chameleons that are climbing up trees. You've got praying mantises that are standing on the top of okra plants and looking down below. There's ladybugs, and there's all kinds of natural biodiversity that helps combat some of the pests that we experience in agriculture too. With the agroforestry in place, the soil conservation, the soil maintains carbon in the long term, and the soil also traps a lot more moisture and water. And with all the trees in place and sustainably being managed, every time it rains, the trees guide the water back down into the groundwater aquifers and recharges the groundwater. So the village savings clubs are a foundation and a key tool that helps people and communities to continue maintaining their forests and maintaining their small farms to make sure that all of these wonderful and critical environmental benefits sustain into the future.
So now we're getting more and more into how village savings clubs work, and we will now be looking into, yes, again, really the how and how a village savings club can operate. And we will be visualizing this through a practice with seeds. And again, we're guided by John Leary from MotherTrees.
A VSLA is a savings club created by neighbors who trust each other. And they agree on the day and time that they're going to meet each week, and they meet at that same time each week to do a series of activities that save money and give out loans. For the demonstration today, each seed is going to be 100 francs, and the women decide how much each person is going to contribute into the savings club each week. It's usually defined by people who are the poorest in the group, and to see what they're able to contribute, and then they set the rate. And so for us here today in the demonstration, we're saying that each week, every woman is going to put in 2 seeds into the savings club. All of this money goes into a loan fund from which we're going to give loans. So for the first week, when all of the women come together, they're going to bring their 2 seeds. Everybody has a record in the record book. Each share costs 2 seeds. Some people might have more money and they can buy 2 shares that week. So they might put 4 seeds. It is possible that somebody does not have enough to contribute that week and they have to do less. But if they do have extra cash, they can always buy more shares. Every share is going to be 2 seeds. So everybody's going to take their 2 beans and we're going to put it into the loan fund now. And this loan fund is the case from which we're going to give out microloans to our individual members. And it's also the main savings account that we're going to build and grow over the course of the savings club. Yep. Yeah. Good. So that's our loan fund. But there's another fund as well. It's called the social fund or the solidarity fund. It's a fund to make sure that all the people in the group are able to stay in the group, and if they have any shocks, deaths, funerals, sickness, or anything, that there's some extra money that's not a loan, it's going to be a grant or a gift to people in it. And the group decides how much each person should put into the Solidarity Cup every single week. And for our demonstration here, we're going to say we're going to put 1 seed into the Solidarity Cup. It could be 25 cents, it could be 50 cents, it could be $1, it could be whatever value the group wants to set. Yeah. So that's the first week, the first meeting. We put money into the fund, and there's even some money in the Solidarity Cup as well. In between weeks, the money is kept in a case, in a lockbox, with 3 separate keys. This system is called the 3-lock Savings Club, and there's 3 locks on the box. And there's always going to be a different person from a different part of the village or a different area who's going to maintain those keys. And this box is only going to be opened when all of those women come back next week at the same time, and they open it up and they're ready to do the Savings Club again. So now here we are in the next week's meeting, and everybody comes again. We're all going to contribute 2 more seeds into the loan fund. So, indi senyar, connect muna def nyar. And we're also all going to put 1 seed into the cup of solidarity, the help cup. Boom, good. Now, once the loan fund starts to have a significant amount, then the Village Savings Club is able to start giving out microloans to the individual members. Madam. So she's going to get a loan of 10 seeds from the loan fund here, because she has a business idea and she's going to buy and sell fruit, and she's going to make money. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And so the loan fund gives the loan to the individual member. At the same meeting, somebody's in trouble. Madam, she has somebody sick in her house and she needs help from the cup. So the group decides to take 5 and give it to her. So there we are. That makes sure she can take care of a funeral cost or medicine or transport to get somebody to the hospital, and it doesn't affect her ability to continue contributing to the Savings Club. We respect the rules, and what we didn't say yet is if you're late or if you don't show up, you're gonna have to pay an extra fine for not participating that day. So the rules of the Savings Club really do encourage everybody to continue. So that's the end of week 2, the second meeting. We saved up some money, we gave out a loan, and we gave out some support from the Solidarity Cup. This will be the last week in the demonstration. Here we are in the 3rd week now. So everybody's going to come into the Savings Club, where everybody's going to put 2 seeds into the loan fund. She's been having difficulty. She got a Solidarity Cup grant last week. We understand that her family is having challenges, so she might not contribute to the Solidarity Cup this week, but everybody else who can is going to put money into the cup. We made our contributions to both the loan fund and the Solidarity Cup. And then we come to the loans. She borrowed money last week. The group has decided from the beginning what the interest rate is. And so what she's going to do is she's going to pay back. She bought the fruit, she sold the fruit, she made a lot of money. She's going to return 10 that she borrowed plus 2 more interest into the cup. Well, yep. So she made her profit, and she paid back the loan, and the group benefited from the interest. So after 3 weeks, we have a loan fund, which is really our savings account, and we have a Solidarity Cup, which is our help cup, and making sure that if anybody has any challenges, the group can support each other. So the Village Savings Club provides microloans to its members and an opportunity to save in a place where there are no banks, where it's difficult to save money, where there's emergencies happening all the time, and it's extremely difficult to manage money and save it. The Savings Clubs gives families the structure to manage their household economics.
So I really enjoyed that really, how do you say, example and visual experience of village savings clubs. So thank you again to the champion communities and to MotherTrees for developing this and sharing it with us. As you might have understood by now, a large part of the work with the village savings clubs in the communities of Kaffrine have been supported through the MotherTrees and their training manual on village savings clubs. So we will be learning a bit more about this from John Leary. Please, John.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you, Anna. We'll take a little bit of time just to go through. We'll have a few slides just to give a little bit of a tour of the manual. So in the past videos, you got to see people working together, savings together. Our training manuals that we're sharing in both English and French have been designed in building on best practices and have included, there's really 3 main modules. And so I'll quickly talk about the 3, and then we'll go in depth on each one. At a very high level, Module 1 is really just an introduction to the village savings clubs. The community might not be immediately ready and 100% dedicated to jump into starting a savings club because it is a big process. But that first module makes sure that everybody understands what they're getting into. Then there's a decision point. The second module is about how to write your constitution, your bylaws that are going to guide your savings club moving forward. And then by creating the bylaws, you are answering a lot of questions about how are we going to save together? How are we going to work together? How are we going to manage our money? And module 3 ties up all the operations. And so a lot of the training program goes in depth in module 3, and we'll look at that as well. So let's jump to the next slide. The 2 main things that help communities understand what savings clubs are, how they work, and what they're getting into is the module does have Fatu's story. There's a story about a woman in there and her experiences, and through reading that and unpacking that, the group members have a good idea of what a savings club is and how it can impact their life. And we do the actual bean activity, which we just did in that last video, with the actual seeds, showing people how week to week we come together, save our money, and how it works over time. So with those 2 tools, the group can get to a decision point to say, yes, we like the idea, we see how it works, and we'd like to actually start a savings club. And then they're ready for the next workshop. So go ahead and jump to that next slide. And the second one is very much about, you see the word constitution or bylaws, or it's just a guiding document. Every savings club should have a guiding document that, outlines all of the kind of information. And by going through the methodology in the training manual, the group gets to state who we are, what are we here for, what are our goals, how frequently are we going to come together, how much are we going to save, what are we going to do when things go wrong, if somebody has difficulty, how are we going to handle the solidarity cup, and how long, when we give out microloans, how long are we going to expect our members to pay it back? It's usually they have within a month. And so by answering all those questions, the group is creating their guiding document and also coming up with all of really their policies about how they're going to save, how they're going to lend, and how they'll create that social fund. So each group should have bylaws in place. Then we can jump to the last slide. And in the training manual, it takes, the group through deeper kind of operations of how to manage the funds and also how to do the record keeping. And the record keeping is a big part of the training. You heard in the previous video that usually there's maybe at least a few literate people in the group and numerate who can do most of the record keeping, and we focus a lot of the training on record keeping there. But the records are done, in front of everyone. They're in the box. They're pulled out of the box. Every note, every time money's going in, they see people noting the records there. And it is kind of a public, recording process. And so this, you can see on this part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, there's different sections in the meeting that the leaders just need to learn how to, facilitate the collection of all the funds, the payback. There's a point in each meeting when they review loan requests, and they might need to vote on that. And so they learn all the kind of details of how to start the VSLA, how to continue the savings clubs going forward. And then there's shares that get bought and there's payouts that can happen. So each week when you buy a share at that minimum buy-in cost, you're buying, almost stock in your corporation, and it's growing over time. And some people want to cash out some of that later in the year, and they learn how to do that as well. And most of our savings clubs, though, will continue to kind of grow year after year as people leave their money in it and learn how to kind of make their shares grow. So the facilitator guides, really, these training manuals are designed to have a trainer that's usually in front of 25 people. 25 is a good group size. You can also be doing multiple groups together. They can be smaller. You can have small groups of 10 women, 12 people, 14 people coming together to create a savings club, and to be kind of your training group as well. So it's a little flexible in how to deploy the training manual. We welcome any questions on what's in it, how to use it, and I hope everybody finds them useful.
Thank you, John, for that.
Sure.
Again, learning more about the manuals, and you can find the French and English versions of the manuals in the chat. And we will now break for a 5-10 minutes break, but please share any questions you might have to John, MotherTrees, or to the community in the chat, as we will be having colleagues joining us from the community itself live. But I suggest we have a 10 minutes break. So we meet again 5 past in the same Zoom link that you have already open now. So if you prefer, you can just mute yourself and maybe turn off your camera if you like, and we will join again in 10 minutes. Thank you for now. John, just whilst we're having the break, I saw that Philly, they have registered because I got a registration confirmation. So I think she would have received another email with the link to join and the password.
Okay, I'm troubleshooting them. I've got another person on the line here,
Okay.
and it's like she's saying she was able to get in, and then she's asking. It's either asking her name or the name of the meeting.
Okay.
And she said she put in Feely's name and hit enter, and it said it's not right. So it's like I just don't. And I asked her. Oh, she sent me a link here. It says participate in the meeting. ID of the reunion.
Oh, okay.
Why is she being asked an identification number for the meeting?
I don't
Is she
know.
clicking on the wrong thing?
Can audiovisual colleagues help?
It's a meeting ID. It should have been. It's a little number that should be. It's like a password.
Oh, maybe it's the same. The one
And I
that
think
had.
that should have been included in the information about logging in.
See it. Yeah.
Because it asked me for that too.
Okay. And I wonder, meeting ID, I have it here. I think it's the same ID for everyone.
934.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to enter that.
Me neither. But let's see if that's if that helps them, hopefully.
Well, I'm going to number B. Munginono. Cut.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. We are having some issues to connect with our colleagues, Mrs. Arminta and Mrs. Philly from Senegal, who we hope to be able to join us for the live question and answer sessions later. But whilst John is working on that, together with audiovisual colleagues from FAO's back end, we will go to our next video, which we will be hearing in a video from Mrs. Aminta Sal, who we already met and who is the president of the Sokoleko Women's Village Savings Group. And we will also be hearing from Mrs. Top, who is president of a savings club in Medina Sea Village. And they will be reflecting on their experiences with village savings clubs, the challenges, day-to-day maintenance, such as loans loans requests and also advice to other village savings clubs. And again, in the video, John is helping us with the translations from Wolof to English.
Aminta started the savings club here, which grew into 5 savings clubs in the village, each with 25 members, 125. That's 5. She's now managing 12 because she's got an additional 7 savings clubs in the neighboring villages. So she's leading up.
Chris, are you finding the video okay?
Waaw dana mer ci départ bi waaye bu mer bu demee ba ci biir dana xam ne lii ñu ko wax mooy dëgg ndax kees gi buñ ñu koy formel xew taxu koo jóg.
So I'll do a quick translation. When they first got started about 5 years ago, they were able to organize 27 and then 30 people who began saving. We did the training.
Audiovisual colleagues, please take a look at the chat and help us with
and they started giving out
connecting Philly and upcoming speakers
and
to
now
Zoom.
in the seasons, nobody's going to any of the banks in any of the towns. They're giving out $100, $200, $400 loans to people who are able to do some pretty serious business, agribusiness, buying and selling vegetables, processing, and they're making money on all the stuff that's coming out of Lifetree agroforestry.
Sorry, I already started I'm sharing my screen, and for me, is everything working? You can't see the video? No?
I can't at least. Can others see
Anyone?
the video?
I was able to see that video.
I was watching the video.
Yes.
It was
Okay.
working.
Okay, so me then. I'll be quiet then.
I will continue.
Maybe just adjust the view. Sometimes the gallery has pictures and it may have hidden the video for somebody. The group currently has 2,500,000 CFA saved, $5,000, and it started with an empty bucket. So the savings clubs work, and every single member is planting thousands of trees in their agroforestry. They're all working with the fruits, the vegetables, and several other value chains too. So, one of the key things that she just mentioned is they meet on Saturdays. And one of the things that we wanted to hear from her is how they assess the investment requests or the loan requests. So each Saturday, after everybody saves their money, they get in the pot, people can ask for microloans. Small loans, it could be $20, $50, $100, it could be $200, depending on the size and the activity. It could be a $5 loan if they need something small. And they assess it, and it needs to be an investment. And so some people are learning the difference between consumption, just I'm going to get a loan to have a party, versus I'm going to get a loan to, buy and sell and make money and make sure it comes back. So everybody's getting kind of like business training on the job, like in real time, as they're trying to get loans and to do different things. But by borrowing money, returning it, and paying a little bit of interest, the group continues to accumulate money over time. And again, they've got $5,000 saved. So now she has a group, what started with 30, now has 310 women, all female members. 310 people is a lot. We grew from 30 to 310. That's a 10x increase is in both. And the last time I checked, she had more like $500, not $5,000. So you can see the money has increased 10x as well. The question was, how do you select people to participate in your savings club? You're saving money together. You need to have trust. They need to pay it back. There's no room for money to go missing around here. And Aminta's advice to the other leaders who want to start and manage savings clubs with their restoration is to be very selective in the people and to know who you're inviting to join. You need to be able to trust them at a minimal level. You need to have instincts as a leader, and if you don't know them, you visit them, you check them out in the family. You want to have a day or two or three to get to know them. And she says in a short time you can get to know someone pretty well and get a good idea if you're willing to loan money to them or not, and if they'll pay you back. And that's a tough responsibility of leaders of savings clubs, but you can't just let anybody join just because they happen to live next door. You do need to be selective, and it's really trust at the end of the day, and you need to trust your instinct on whether you feel comfortable, she says, loaning money to somebody and if they'll pay you back. And so this is very interesting in that she says, in terms of you want to manage active members, and they set rules. If you're late to the meeting, you pay a fine. And if you don't come, you pay a fine. And the group, during the establishment phase, they set the rules. So it's not just Aminta who, is the executive and sets it. The group set the rules, they set the constitution, they agreed to all the rules, they make the interest rate, how much we contribute, how much we put in the pot, how much we put in the cup.
what the late fee is if you show up late. They set all the rules. And so if people can't keep up or don't want to, they kind of self-select. They'll not join. They know it's going to be a fine and a fee if they either show up late or don't participate. So it's better for them just to drop out. The record keeping is a challenge, especially in low literate communities. And she's saying for a group of 30 members, they might have 3 literate people who serve as the president, the secretary, and the treasurer. And those 3 people make sure that all the records are up to date. The records have the list of people. Each member has her own page that has her history on it. And it's got records of shares being bought, loans being given out, loans being paid back, interest. Everything is captured and written down. It's very important in the savings clubs from the leadership to make sure that every single meeting, every transaction is captured.
Di alaman bi.
Alaman.
Waaw. Kayeb alaman.
Lan mooy kayit alaman?
Boo tardé heure.
Okay. So this page is the late fees. This is the late fee page. These are people who had to pay 100 CFA, or maybe 250 depending on what the infraction was. But it's the list of members, and that's the late fee page. They've got these notebooks here where they track everything. This is some of the soap distribution, the soap project, where they've got the entire group working on buying and selling soap. They make money off of the transactions, off the sales. They work it out so that the members get soap at a very cheap price, and they sell it, and they've got it all worked out here in some of the records. So in this book, every individual has her own page, and it'll say under her name how much she borrowed. So they've got a credit history started on every single woman in the cooperative, and I see not all of them have borrowed money yet. Some are just saving, but a lot of them have borrowed too. $10, $8, $4, $8, $10. Then so this is the loan page, and this is a series of loans that have been given out. 20,000, 20,000. It's like $40 loans to Aminta here as well. So everybody's got their history. This person has a series of transactions that they've been borrowing since it got started. The groups have been active for 5 years now, so some people are starting to have a bit of a history. To get to the point where they are now, you can see she's very comfortable. She's very confident. She's confident that she can help 310 women get all the loans they ever need, right? In order to get to this point, she says the beginning is the toughest. When these are empty and the case is empty and people don't really see the full vision yet, and you're asking very poor people to contribute in those first weeks and the first couple months. She said you have to be diligent, you have to believe in the methodology that it will work. She said, anything that you can do to accelerate building that initial pot of money. And once you have it, as long as it's managed well, the fact that it's there, everybody follows it. They need it. It's core to the community. All of the agroforestry systems here are benefiting and sustaining because the producers have access to these funds and these microloans to make all the sustainability continue. So she says it's really getting over that first establishment hump. Soknatop, her group has been going on for 4 years now, and she's living in a village. Fantastic, fantastic. So she's one of the 12 groups, and they've got about $600 saved in that group. So it's a smaller group. They've been very active, doing the same things, buying, selling, supporting women's enterprise activities. And the group itself has made $600 in their case right now. So that's their cash base from which they're giving out loans to women in their community.
Wow.
So Mrs. Tope's advice for Savings Club leaders is that when you set the savings amount per share, you got to see how much everybody can afford, and it's really the poorest person's level in the group. If somebody says, I can save $5 a week, but somebody else says, I can participate, but I can only save $1 a week, is my contribution, then they make $1 the base share of, and so that the poorest person in the group can participate week after. If it's 50 cents a share, that's fine. And if you have more, and if you can contribute more, then you can just buy more shares. But I guess her advice is make sure that the share price, that the contribution that each woman has to give each week is meets the level of the poorest people in the group. And as long as they can contribute, obviously everybody else can continue to contribute as well. And so both of the women, our champion Aminta and Mrs. Tope, who's doing a wonderful job too, both advise that in the activities, in the income generating activities, it's the vegetable production underneath the fruit trees that's consistently bringing the most value to the Savings Club, because vegetables are run by women, grown by women, sold by women. They're women-dominated value chains. It's women who are cooking the meals, prepare and have immediate access to it. And so the higher value vegetables too fetch good price on the market. Lettuce, peppers, tomatoes, all of that stuff is a lot more, you get a lot more return than you do with some of the cheaper crops, the corn and peanuts and millet and stuff like that. So it's wonderful. We've been supporting all of these women's groups in heavy vegetable production for many, many years, specifically for the nutritional and economic gains. And it's great to see them too really maximizing and optimizing their revenue that they're generating from all the vegetables. So that's the advice. Go heavy on vegetables. The Savings Club allows them to buy more seeds and any watering cans they may need, or then any transport and stuff they need to get the vegetables to the market. So the Savings Club helps to see them all through. She was explaining how the Savings Club helps the agroforestry activities, and that year after year, women members can borrow money if they want to get new seeds, plant new vegetable seeds to sell on the market. They've got new vegetable varieties that they want to sell. If they have fruit and they need either bags or boxes and transport to get their fruit to the market in Kaffrine, they can borrow money. There's a lot of tree seeds. The seeds themselves are popular. Sometimes the seeds are used in processing or for the leather makers or just other things. There's tree products. And so they'll get a loan, you can get the bags, you get the transport, collect all your product, and then get it to market, sell it, and then come back and return the money. So it's enabling them to take advantage of all kinds of agribusiness activities that come out of the agroforestry system.
So thank you for that video, both to our community champions and also to John for the translations. We are having some issues to for our champion representatives to join the meeting. So meanwhile, hoping that they will attend soon, I will jump to the next, to our, oh, John, are they here? No.
They're about, and so the name Nday and Dao, that's them. And
Perfect,
so she's going to get her camera on and her microphone, and she's just about ready. Yep.
Okay, well, I'll give her 1 more minute and just go to the next slide then.
Okay.
And then we can come back as soon
Okay.
as she's available. So meanwhile, while they're setting up, very glad that they're here with us today, joining directly from Senegal. But meanwhile, as they're setting up, just want to inform you a bit about what are the next steps of this initiative 3. As you might know or might remember from Chris' presentation earlier today, that the champion communities are part of the initiative 3 of the Capacity, Knowledge and Learning Action Plan of the UN Decade, where we have identified champions that are experienced and knowledgeable of managing and establishing income generating, self-sustaining activities that promote restoration. And as next steps of this initiative, we will be having both local and global knowledge exchanges. And this today is a global one, where we have really tried to feed in experiences and lessons learned from communities themselves. And we also have as a next step of this initiative 3 to finalize the work plan for the upcoming 2 years. So if you want to be a part of this and would like to contribute to the work plan or other activities or have ideas of what we could do going forward, please reach out to any of us focal points, myself or Chris, who are here today, but also Bianca Sipala. Hopefully, we will now have our colleagues here from Senegal. Let's see if they are ready to share with us a bit their reflections. I see that they have the video on, and we will be having with us Mrs. Aminta Sall, who's the president of and Sokoleko Women's Village Savings Group. And we will also be having Mrs. Fili Traore, president of the Women's Forestry Association. And then, as I understand it, Mrs. Fili Traore will be helping with translations. So we will be doing 3 translations from English to I think, John, correct? Or you know better the lines of translations happening.
Yeah, we're going from Wolof to French and English here today. Yeah.
So that would be exciting to see, but very much look forward to hearing more. And we have noticed that there are some questions in the chat as well. So thank you for that. Perhaps, John, whilst they are setting up, we could start with 1 question or 2 questions for you. If you're ready and available, I know you're helping to set up the meeting as well.
Can you open their microphone?
Absolutely. I think I can.
No, pas encore. So can you unmute Nday and Dao's microphone? You can see she's leaning over the computer there trying to unmute it.
Yeah, I'm asking to unmute, and then they have to approve.
Okay.
Now, I think.
There we go. And they, well, definitely ko. Yan ang inundig. Aminta, Fili, yang inundig.
I wonder if we lost them now.
No, they're there. They came back.
There? Oh,
So,
there.
dafa lay dimbali nga unmute. Lagi da nga mute yon sa kiwi. Ken mo no la diglu. Wako you dig? No, digumala.
Meanwhile, John,
Yeah.
would it be okay to have to maybe answer 1 or 2 questions whilst they're trying to set up the audio?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's 1 question from Robin Chaston. Thank you, Robin. it's about if men are also engaged in the savings club, or is it always women?
It's a good question. I had asked Aminta when I was there. And so this is Aminta on the screen right here, trying to troubleshoot her microphone. I had asked her if she has any men in the group, and her answer was no, 100%. It's all women participating. That's really been their preference. We do savings clubs in other places where there are men participating. There might be 2 or 3 or 4 men in the group and still have predominantly women. So it's not a complete exclusion sometimes, and they bend the rules. But historically, and as is the experience in Bangladesh and other places where a lot of the microfinance first started, women are more reliable. They pay back the loans. They work harder together. They coordinate together, and by eliminating, by not having guys in the group, it's just easier for them to be successful. Oh well, ndey lama dégg naanu la léegi.
Yaa ngi ñuy dégg bu baax.
Waaw ñu ngi la dégg bu baax. Okay, so we have our champions on.
Yo sonn nga tey de.
I'm a problem. So this is Fili here. This is Fili Traoré. Ak Fili bougé ko ñu mën a gis Aminta itam.
Vous êtes trop fatigué aujourd'hui.
No problem. Bienvenue. She says she's very tired. So this is Fili Traoré on the left here. So we can go ahead and coordinate some questions to her. So Fili, léegi arrivé nañu léegi depuis 1h30 on est dañu doon kii waxtaan ci ñetti xom ak def nañu seen présentation ci seen groupe te arrivé nañu fu ñu war a poser ay questions. Donc am na fi benn mbooloo. So Anna and Chris, if you want, we can facilitate some questions. She's ready, and Aminta's just to the left of her. We'll get her back on the screen as well.
Perfect. Is it easiest if? Well, first of all, thank you for joining us. I think I'll take one question at a time.
And Anna, you can speak French directly with Fili if that's easiest. However you want to do it.
No, I'm not French speaking, sadly.
Okay, no problem. Yep.
But should I just take one question at a time then, or do you want to take them, John, and I can paste them in the chat?
No, you go right ahead and let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So we have one question from Hosea Kandagor, and it's how many funds can one group have?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Absolutely. How many funds can one group have?
How many funds does each group have?
Yes, or is there a limit? Is there a maximum?
Is there a maximum? Okay. Fili, dafa am ben laaj pour Aminta. Dañu bëgg laaj ci groupe Aminta ñaata ci 12 groupe lu mooy yor ñaata fond ci xaalis chaque groupe am ak est-ce que am na maximum lu nu war a denc wala comme ci xaalis ñoom fan la ñuy toll waaw.
Pour ñaari groupement yi.
Ci groupement ci 12 groupement li nga yor Aminta waaw mu ngi laaj ci fond yi parce que sa boss dafa amoon 1,500,000 beneen bi moo am xawma 600,000 wala beneen mu ngi laaj ci groupe yi ñaata lañu mën a denc ci fond yi.
Waaw ami waxal ma traduire ko mu ni ñaata groupe mu ne seen fond bi daal seen am mu tollu ci xaalis. Waaw ñaari millions ak xaaj. Bon Aminata a dit bon, concernant leur groupement, elles ont déjà pu réunir.
Well, with regards to the group, they've been able to save 2,500. What about the other groups? The other smaller groups in the village?
No, sen yene ñetti xom yu nekk ci village ba ñoom ñaata lanu mësa denc.
Mu ne yeneen njiit yi si des. Waaw ñeneen yi mu ne. Waaw ñoom it kenn ku si nekk am nga téeméeri junni ak juróom. Bon, les autres groupements,
well, the other groups,
les groupements là, chaque groupement quand même a
each group
un dépôt de 500,000 francs CFA.
has 500,000 CFA francs,
750
or 750 in the kitty, in the box. That's for the other groups.
Yani 700,000. Yani 700,000.
750.
750,000.
So to answer the question, just to be clear, so her main group that she had started with originally has 2,500,000, which is about $5,000 saved. And then another small group has about 1,500 saved in it. So, you know, it starts off in the hundreds, and another group that we saw earlier had about 600. So I don't think there's not a maximum. They're trying to keep growing it as much as they can. But that's kind of the general dollars sizes that they're working with. What's your next question?
We have about 12 groups, 12 organizations who are saving money.
And she's clarifying
Okay.
she manages 12 groups. Yep.
Thank you. And how many, is it one type of funds, or what different types of funds are you having? For example, loan funds or solidarity funds or anything else?
It is. I mean, those are the two main funds that all the groups have. So I can clarify how much in general they have in each. Agbowache ki dafa bugalero ne grupi bunek dafa sen case te amna ki case de solidarity. Donc amna deux. Après mungilaj kom nyatengen denchi case B versus nyatengen chi cup de solidarity.
Wow, groupe maanaam keesu ndimbalante moom ma ngi doon 500,000 keesu ndimbal bi da ngay xool fii keesu ndimbal bi waaw 500,000 la bon pour leur caisse de solidarité elles ont
So
500,000.
for the solidarity fund, we have 500,000.
So she's saying of the 5,000 that she has, they have about $1,000 in the solidarity cup. And that's the resilience fund taking care of people. Then they've got $4,000 in the loan fund. Yeah. Interesting. And I think that we could expect, if we broke down all the other smaller savings clubs in the group, if they have $600, they're going to probably have 100 in the, you know, in the solidarity cup, and then the greater portion in the loan fund as well.
Thank you. We have some more questions, many who are interested. So another question is, how do you prioritize requests for loans if there is not enough money in the fund to cover all of them?
So ñu ngi laaj boo defee sa réunion de ñetti xomb te am na ay nit ñu xam ne dañu bëgg a leb xaalis su fekkee bari na te xaalis bi dafa am fu mu yem, naka ngay prioriser ban entreprise wala ban jigéen ngay joxe, est-ce que waaw naka ngay tànn fi ngay leb sa xaalis ci biir?
Waaw ku may leb sama xaalis si kii bi kees gi.
Waaw su fekkee bari na, su fekkee am na fukki jigéen ñoom ñëpp ñu bëgg a leb xaalis, wante di nga mën a joxe kenn ñaar wala ñett kese, naka ngay tànn ban nit nga war a joxe?
Waaw damay seet ñu ma sa gën a wóolu ñoo xam ne bu ma leen lebalee xaalis bi daal ma teel a indiwaatal xaalis bi ma lebalaat yeneen groupe yi si des. Waaw noonu laa koy leblente bu ko defee buñ ko indee ñeneen ñu amutoon ma man leen a joxaat ñoom it ñu lebaat mën a indiwaat.
Ak donc da ngay tànn lu gën a wóor, donc yow yaay, est-ce que yow yaay tànn wala groupe bi yëpp ñooy tànn wala da ngay voté wala nu mu demee?
Groupe bi yëpp ñooy tànn.
Ok.
Bu ma waxee mu dëppoo loo xam ne moom laa wax. Groupe bi yëpp ànd seeg man ñu jox ko.
Ok, dina am tuuti waxtaan balaa ñu jox ko, ñu wax ba kii soxla na ni keneen ki soxla leneen, wante après da ngay tànn.
Waaw balaa ma koo jox dañuy waxtaan ñun si groupe bi bu ma waxee jox leen samay xalaat ba pare. ñu wër ba jox ma seen xalaat ba dëppoo ma lebal ko. Bu dëppoowu groupe bi ànduñu si ñu seet neneen nañuy tëralewaat.
Merci. So it's a wonderful question, and it's, this is the business strategy here. If you have 10 people members asking for loans, she says they need to give the loan to the surest idea, and they'll talk it out, and they'll talk because they do the group. Everybody's in a big circle, and if you got 10 people who are advocating, they say, I need a loan for X, Y, and Z. They do need to present it. The group is going to hear it. She's going to ask some questions, some clarification questions. If anybody else wants to chime in, it is the group's money. So the group can vote even if they need to decide where it is. But I think with just strong leadership that she has, she's going to make sure she's going to unpack the request a lot and to know if it sounds like a good idea or not. And that's how she would prioritize where to put the funds. And with it's not just her, it's with her leadership team and everybody around it. So it is group decision making, but it's important to have a leader who's kind of facilitating that and helping people prioritize.
Thank you. And following that, talking about leadership and the structure, a question that I had just came to think of actually is how is that structure or the leadership selected? Is there a process for this annually, or is it a lifelong commitment or responsibility?
Okay. Yeah. So Aminta Mungilaj, sa G2 grupi, sa G2 group, comme yo, Madame Top, ak yenen president yi, ak secrétaire, ak treasurer, kan mo lentan, ak eske ñoom dañuy def liggéey boobu pour ay at yu bari wala ndax at bu nekk am na secrétaire bu bees wala am na treasurer bu bees wala naka ngeen di tànn njiit yi njiitu ñetti komb yi.
ñetti xom waaye jiitu ñetti xom bi moom tànn ñu suñ bopp mbooloo mi ñoo ñuy tànn teg ñu si.
Okay, they vote in group.
bu ñu tànnee léegi kenn folliwul kenn. buñ demoon ba kenn des ci loo xam ne na jaarul yoon mën nañ laa folli waaye kenn ku si nekk lu mbooloo mi bëgg yaa nga siy jaar.
Okay.
bis boo demee ba jël ko na fu ñu la jaarloo jaaroo fa mën nañ laa folli waaye folliwuñu kenn. génneel ma ko mu dem waaw.
Ak boo nekkee président est-ce que di nga mës a changer loolu wala toujours da nga nekk président at bu nekk ak treasurer est-ce que dafay changer at bu nekk wala comme boo voté nga tànn sa treasurer pour groupe ñetti xomb est-ce que loolu day changer itam.
déedéet sensé wuñu ko benn yoon.
ok d'accord
bu ñu commencé ak léegi juróomi at si ren kenn sensé wu ko.
Okay, d'accord. Njiit yi dañu am seen liggéey, dañu xam seen role. So she's saying the group, all right, so the question was how are the leaders selected? And she's saying when they get the entire group together that wants to join, it is the group that votes for all the leaders. So the group has to decide and vote and choose and support all the people in different positions. Once they're in those positions, though, she said there hasn't been a change in 5 years. She's saying it's work. They know their jobs, the record keepers, the treasurer, everything's kind of in place. The membership has been pretty constant as well in her group. So whereas in a cooperative, you might expect, or some other structures, you would expect new leadership to be voted in every year or every 3 years or something like that. That could be in the bylaws of other village savings clubs, but that's not what they're doing here, and that's not part of this. So she's the president, she's the permanent president of her club, and that's how the governance is.
Thank you. We have a question from Hosea Canagor, and it's describing how they have a challenge where members are joining more or forming more than one village savings and loans association, and that this becomes a challenge to consolidate everything and make sure that they have good savings on a weekly basis. So is this something that they have encountered, that members are joining more than one club and that this is creating obstacles?
So send beneen question mooy ndax am na ay membre ñoo xam ne dañu bokk ci ay ñetti ay groupe yu bëri ay ñetti xom yu bëri donc xëy na ma bokk ci Medina si denc xaalis foofu te itam ma bokk ci beneen village est-ce que am na ay nit ñu xam ne ñu ngi bokk ci ay ñetti xom yu bëri wala ay 2 3 4 ñett groupe xom wala est-ce que toujours membre yi dañu bokk ci benn rek
waaw membre yi na moom daanaka man maay wàññi sa waaye ñoom kenn ku si nekk da ngay bëgg di bokk sama groupe groupe bi moom dafa yokk waaye wàññeeku benn yoon moom beneen bi si des lebeetuñu benn banque dañ daan dem si banque yi di lebi xaalis waaye lebeetuñu benn banque si kees yi la ñuy leb di faj suñu soxla ba jëkkoon na boo masaan am sa soxla dangay dem sa moromu jigéen leb ko boo ko lebee muy la doo am ba pare mu ni diw de ñëwoon na fi léegi tànkam yaa ngi léegi nag bu ñu amatee soxla ñun si suñuy kees la ñuy jël di si leb bu ñu paree delloo waat ko si biir kees bi lebeetuñu suñu benn moromu jigéen
so sa membre ñu nekk ci sa groupe est-ce que comme su ma bokkee ci sa groupe ndax am na nit ñu xam ne dañu bokk ci ay groupe yu ay plus de un comme damay wax am na kii par exemple ma bokk ci sa groupe ak itam ma bokk ci groupe Madame Top est-ce que am na loolu
déedéet
ok toujours da ngay bokk ci benn groupe foofu okay so to answer the question is in her experience in her area there most people just belong in their one group they haven't had the difficulty I think he asked about in terms of crossover or getting confusion among multiple groups in the same village. They do have 5 groups in one village, but each individual member is only a member of that one group, and they're not members of multiple groups. That being said, I did meet in our last trip when we were doing a lot of these videos, I did meet people who were members of multiple groups, and it didn't sound like a problem. So I'm not sure where the confusion may come from, if each group is managed well. I ran into one, it was a guy, a gentleman who said that he belongs in 4 groups. He does a group on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. He's got 4 different savings clubs that he's participating in. He contributes to each savings club, and he can also borrow money if he needs from each savings club. He's got shares growing in each of the 4 savings clubs, and each savings club is operated by, a person just like Aminta and some of the other women that we've met. And, so those bank accounts are growing for him. So that's not necessarily causing, confusion. I welcome a follow-up question if we want to ask Aminta on that. But I think her other main point that she pointed here is just tangentially related is she says they're not going to the banks. The bank loans, the bank interest rates are not favorable. And they're happy that they're able to meet their credit needs in and amongst themselves.
Thank you. Very interesting. We still have some more questions.
Great.
So it's well, it might be a question to you, John, but it's about if the government tax the savings clubs.
No.
And then another question, if to Aminta and yes, the champion communities is if there are cases of repeat loans to the same people who, of course, naturally have been established to their trust and who repay as they get other loans.
They do. I saw the list, so I'll ask her really kind of how they evolve over time. They, because they do start, and I've seen lists where people, they've been members for 5 years, for example, and they have a whole credit history in the records. So Aminta mungi laaj ci laajoon mooy ndax am na ay jigéen ci sa groupe ñu xam ne dañuy leb ay fois yu bëri te dama la neewoon waaw ci juróomi at am na ay jigéen dañuy leb toujours ñu mën a leb xaalis ñu dellu ko leb xaalis dellu donc ci loolu est-ce que am na changement ci seen leb comme par exemple est-ce que dangay tàmbali ndaw dangay tàmbali lu xaw a tuuti ndax jigéen yi dañuy tàmbali ci 1000 francs 2000 4000 ndànk ñu ne ba junni 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, fukki junni, ñaari fukki junni, like ñoom suñu bokkee ci biir ñetti xomr di tàmbali leb pour la première fois, après deuxième fois, troisième fois, loolu est-ce que dafay yokk ci chaque yoon?
waaw day yokku sa fois day yokku ndax bu fekkee ñëpp dañoo bëggandoo xaalis bu ñuy soog a démarrer te kees gi bariwul xaalis dañuy tollale ku nekk ñu lebal la juróomi junni bu ñëpp dajee boo bëggaatee boo lebaatee ñu dolli la waaw ndax dangaa bëgg sa morom bëgg.
And she's saying it's also a function, the nature of the loans growing over time is also a function of the lack of money in the beginning. So they only have enough cash to give out $2 loans, $4 loans, but as their fund grows, then they can support larger and larger loans over time. So, part of that is you gotta give out the $2 loans in the beginning, get a little bit of interest on those, and then you start building your case, and then you can start giving out the $10 loans and $20 loans. So both things, people's borrowing and the fund's ability to lend kind of grow hand in hand.
Thank you, John, and thank you also to Miss Aminta Sal and Mrs. Fili Traore.
Sure.
Due to time, we have to finish now, but if you just want to forward our big thank you for them joining us.
Absolutely. Donc, Aminta, ñu ngi ak Fili ñu ngi leen di remercier bu baax pour ñu mën a gis leen ak déggoon nañu ci Aminta Fili xëy na su fekkee da nga bëgg a bokk sa dernier xalaat itam dañu kontaan bu baax ci gis waa Kaffrine te da nga mënoon bokk ci sunu réunion tey donc Daniel bëggoon félicité bu baax ak dama lay laaj donc Aminta merci sa réponse yi leer na bu baax te répondre na ci seen question ak xëy na bu ngeen bëgg a doole dara balaa ñu dem léegi mën ngeen wax.
waaw ma ne beneen bi si des maa ngi lay sant di la gërëm. sa coono yaak Omar Ndaw yëpp maa ngi leen di sant di leen gërëm ndax depuis bu nga ñëwee kër ga ak léegi ko ngeen tegoon seen tànk teggiwu leen si dara la ngeen waxoon nit lépp jëflante ngeen ko ki ma dalal fii wi day firi moom it kontaan naa si moom trop ndax si suba teel fajar laa ñëw fii tey këram maa ngi koy sant ko gërëm ak ñu ma fi fekk ak sama moromi jigéen ñi
d'accord
waaw di la sant di la gërëm.
So she said she's been doing this for many years, and she's thrilled to be able to share this with all of us today. And she mentioned Omar's name because he's been helping her and working with for many years now to put all this together. And she said she was really excited. She came here early morning to get set up, and glad that we got the microphone and all set just in time for the interview here. So she's appreciative and wanted to share that. So, and Fili?
waaw comme ni ko sama
wax français bu la neexee.
Bon, nous sommes vraiment contentes.
We are extremely happy. We are extremely happy to have been able to share this experience with us. It is a big joy for us to collaborate together in joy and sincerity. And thank you so much to John. And thank you to your other colleagues because you visited us twice. And on behalf of all the women, we thank you and we ask the all-powerful Allah to give us long life and good health to us and to you so that we could keep collaborating in this project and be very successful. And may God help us to be successful. We are extremely happy. We also give our best regards to everyone and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to you and your colleagues.
So Thank you, Philly. Philly's very nice. She's extending all these very nice words. Philly has been also working her whole life. She started in the 1984 reforesting forests, and we when we did our champion video with her, she's been doing this for decades. So she has some of her members in her forestry association are sitting off to the right with her there, and she was also just expressing her deep gratitude for being part of this, for being recognized, and all the work that they've been doing in Kaffrine over the years. So thank you. Okay, merci beaucoup.
Merci, Monsieur John.
Yeah. Yes, thank you again. And before we close, we would like to really give the to have a big or take a what do you say, a screenshot of everyone. So okay. You who are here listening, please turn on your cameras so we can have a picture with all of you. So I'll just wait a few seconds whilst people are turning on their cameras. Okay, I think we yes, now most of us are here with cameras now. Okay, I'll take a snapshot. Beautiful. Thank you for that. And thank you for everyone for being here, and also to John for really helping and having this great collaboration with the community. I want to give you some time before we leave for if there's anything you want to share with the group whilst we have everyone here.
Grateful for everybody coming. We're happy to help more if anybody's interested in learning more about how to implement the training program behind the Village Savings Clubs. We are excited to continue, the campaign in Kaffrine. Kaffrine we planted millions of trees there over the years, and so certainly excited to continue not just in the reforestation and the agroforestry and the restoration, but continuing to develop these savings clubs. And one interesting new thing that we're doing now, one of the challenges that they talked about today was really getting started. It's that first month or 2 or 3 when you don't have a lot of money yet to loan out, when the savings club is just getting started, when people are just starting to believe in the methodology. And so what we're trying to do is to raise matching funds so that when women's groups raise their first $250 or $500 cash in the case, we come up with a match of $500, and then they've got $1,000 to put a lot more cash into circulation in a community, building their fund. And it helps them get to a little bit more of a significant lending amount and rate just a little bit quicker. And it's a way to, throw gas on the fire. It's working well, and it helps them, kind of accelerate their success as well. So, we follow us on MotherTrees. We're always doing this stuff. We're always learning as we go along, and we hope to. We really enjoyed this webinar today. If we can take this learning to any other platforms, if there's any other groups out there that are facilitating, these types of learning exchanges, we'd be happy to participate and go even deeper on village savings clubs and other things. So thank you all.
Thank you. And we will, as mentioned, have more and global knowledge exchanges happening online during next year. But we will also be having, for example, with the community of Kaffrine and MotherTrees, a local knowledge exchange in Senegal next year as well. So we will be hopefully strengthening the linkage between the global and the local in that sense. And again, if you want to be part of the initiative or contribute to our future work, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I think that's it for now. Thank you again to John Leary, to of course, Mrs. Aminta and Mrs. Philly that we have here with us, and the other community champions as well in Senegal, and of course to all the participants.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Merci beaucoup, Madame Phil, Madame Aminta.
Merci.
Merci.
Mam Diarra. Hein? Say.
All right.
Huh?
Okay, I'll close down the meeting then.
Well, fantastic. Well, put an okay, Minta Philly Messi, jërëjëf Jeff. Dox na bu baax.
Jërëjëf kontaan nañu.
Waaw.
Merci, bonne journée.
D'accord,
bonne
merci.
journée à vous.
À vous too.
Et beaucoup de chance dans la continuité.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, you too, John. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Talk to you soon.
John nag Omar Ndaw sonn nañ